All right, if everybody's ready, we'll get this started. Okay, good morning. It's 10:01. We'll call this meeting Wichita County Commissioners Court to order. If everyone please rise. It's my time to do the invocation, but I want to share with you all a hymn we sang Sunday before last, and I thought it had so much meaning for what it was. This comes from 1 Corinthians 27 through 29. The song is "Oh, for a World, where everyone respects each other's ways, where love is lived and all is done with justice and with praise. Oh, for a world where goods are shared and misery relieved, where truth is spoken, children spared, equality achieved. We welcome one world family, and we struggle with each choice that opens us to a unity and gives our vision voice. Oh, for a world preparing for God's glorious reign of peace, where times and tears will be no more, and all but love will cease." Y'all now join me. Father God, we come to you, and as we share these words, we ask that you help remove the division and the strife that's in our country and throughout our world, and that you bring the people of Ukraine away from the oppressor that seeks them. Father, you look after those that run into danger and serve us all and protect us. And Father, forgive us of our sins. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
If you'd join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now the Texas flag. Honor
Honor
the
the
Texas
Texas
flag.
flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Thank you. Take your seats, please. We do have a couple of special recognitions we'd like to do this morning. If I could ask Josh Griffith to come forward. Josh, it's my pleasure to present you as Wichita County Employee of the Month for August 2022, and appreciate your outstanding performance and service and dedication to Wichita County. I'm going to ask Eddie to tell people a little bit about you and why you're special. I know why, but Eddie knows even better.
Yeah, Josh is our Assistant Facility Administrator in our Juvenile Detention Center. A very valuable member of our detention team. He normally works the first shift, but during the experiencing the staff shortage, he has been volunteering to work second shifts, third shifts. He works on his days off. Whatever we need to do to make the detention run efficiently, he's willing to do. Great team player, great asset to the county.
Well, thank you, Eddie. Josh, congratulations. Thank you. You want to say anything? No. I had that feeling. All right. Ms. Ramser, would you join me up here with your photographer there? Yes. Okay. It's our pleasure today to present this proclamation on Constitution Week. Whereas the Constitution of the United States of America, the guardian of our liberties, embodies the principles of limited government in a republic dedicated to the rule by law. And whereas September 17, 2022, marks the 235th anniversary of the framing of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention. And whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document and its memorable anniversary, and to the patriotic celebration which will commemorate it. And whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of this proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America, designating September 17th through 23rd as Constitution Week. Now therefore, I, Woodrow W. Gosselin Jr., along with the Commissioners Court, by virtue of the authority vested in me as County Judge of Wichita County, do hereby proclaim this week of September 17th through 23rd as Constitution Week. and ask our citizens to reaffirm the ideals the framers of the Constitution had in 1787 by vigilantly protecting the freedom guaranteed to us through the magnificent document, remembering that lost rights may never be regained, in witness whereof we have hereunto set our hands and caused the seal of the Commissioners Court to be affixed this 19th day of September of the year of our Lord, 2022. Ms. Ramsford, thank you for all you do.
Thank you so much, Judge Gossam, commissioners, guests. On behalf of the Major Francis Christ Chapter DAR, we honorably accept this and thank you so much for all you do for the citizens of this county.
Well, thank you.
And God bless you.
Yes, thank you. And you all.
Good. Dr. Randall taught a bunch of us.
Yeah,
at
he did.
Western State University.
He tried to teach me much more than I learned. Luckily, I knew enough on the tests. All right. We are down to the part of public comments. If there's anyone in the audience or on the phone, it is 10:07. Do we have anyone that wishes to make any address to the court? Hearing none, I will close this out at 10:07. If I ask the court to take action on the consent agenda, make any corrections or any items you wish to have pulled down or clarification for?
Judge, I have clarification. I'd just like to hear from Donna and Brendan on 9 and 10. I wanted to recap here so we could kind of be familiar with the courtroom redesign that we're excited about. Donna?
Come on up forward.
Just
Yeah, I can start while she's on her way up.
Okay.
When we were preparing, looking at furnishings for the new first floor suite, one of the areas that we've added is the new conference room, which would have required all new furniture. In looking at how this courtroom functions and knowing that we're changing some of the functionality and how it operates in here, we're moving the conference table to 290. 290 has really good furniture that's barely used, so it was determined that that furniture would work very well in the new conference room. So rather than buy new stuff for the new conference room, we're wanting to move everything from here, including the conference table, which we've already approved, moving it over to 290, and then re-equip the courtroom here, since it's the room that gets the most use, most focus. What we proposed would actually expand seating and give us some ADA compatibility that we don't have. Bring in the larger bariatric chairs for people to sit at that need it, or deputies, for instance, that have sidearms would have trouble getting in and out of the chairs with the arms on them. So Donna can carry
Do
on
we
from here.
think that this table will hook up? Will we still have electricity on it when it moves?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, we've
And
talked.
then the furniture that's in 290 is going down to the first
Right.
floor. And we're gonna repurpose everything, including these
So,
chairs.
Yep.
And we're going from 20, I think it's 22 or 24 seating to 42.
Is it 42?
In here?
I don't
Yes.
think so.
I don't either.
I'm sorry.
Or we're
It-
talking about slim to bariatric.
No,
Do the walls move at all? Do the little banisters move at all up?
no,
forward?
no, it stays, the physical layout of the courtroom stays the same, but
But I do hear a lot of, and Will and Patrick's always said, they hang up a bunch on the armchair that's out there.
Can you hold your breath that long?
Yes, there's gonna be chairs to accommodate that now.
Good.
But if you taken to those 6 seats.
The 6 seats,
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
Then you get
gotcha,
furniture.
okay, gotcha.
So we're adding another row, adding the 2 bariatric chairs. Actually, yeah, 2 bariatrics and adding a third row, another row. So you will actually have, because I understand that you run out of seats a lot of times.
There are
Then-
times,
Several
And
times a
there's
year.
gonna be
Yeah.
a podium here
which,
that is handicapped accessible. It goes up and down. It has a tray for anyone in a wheelchair also. It is on casters.
but
that
that's
it
not
can be
part of
moved.
this. The podium and the 2 front tables are not part of this.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
part of the other.
Yeah, it's part of the other, we've already approved.
Okay.
But it makes it work,
Yeah,
Yes,
is the point is, yeah.
yes, the point is, we had to look long and hard for that. We actually found it, and we do not sell it, so we're selling it to you at cost. We just took care of the situation for you.
well, and what are the setting area what do they kind of look like?
They will match, we're having the stain to match this wood stain, and it's gonna just be 2 tables that are movable with 6 chairs in front, a small, low back, so you can see over them.
Yeah, and they'll match the chairs that are in the galley.
And then for budget work sessions
Gallery.
and things like that, we can go across the hall. It will have the comparable video equipment and capabilities, so it's gonna really work out to be a plus.
It-
Yeah.
I believe it will for you. I think it's gonna be very functional.
So both rooms will be interconnected together, so we can actually use 290 as an overflow room if need be, or, because we'll have the AV equipment in there as well. So
Good deal.
it's a choice of whether we buy new furniture for down in the new conference room. It would be cheaper, in all honesty, it would be cheaper to buy new furniture down there, but this is,
A needed change,
this adds capacity in here,
more functionality.
more functionality, and
And when do we think we'll be complete with this stuff, Donna?
The rule of thumb right now is 6 to 8 weeks. But in today's time, I don't promise anything until I get that acknowledgement back. But right now, the supply chain I stay away from anything foreign made anyway. The supply chain is picking back up, and we're getting some things in 2 weeks.
Good.
So things are moving a little bit better, as long as you stay away from foreign made.
What about if someone comes in a wheelchair? Will we just remove a chair to?
You can just remove a chair, or we can keep one removed permanently. But
Or-
yes,
or
that
they
is
can
what will
transfer
happen.
over to the bariatric chair, and it's one of the purposes for that.
Okay.
But that is, we're going to, just like we did in this courtroom, these first chairs are not hooked up. So they could just be slid out of the way if somebody is in a wheelchair.
Okay.
It was more important for the Commissioners Court to have more seating. Because like I said, I understand that sometimes you have standing room only.
It's rare, but it does happen.
Well, and then too, like Misty or the auditor, HR, a lot of times if they have they're required to shuffle them in their lap while they're trying to find what they need,
And
and
they'll
this
have
will
a
make it
table.
a lot better.
Right. And I think it's gonna serve your needs very well. A lot of thought went into this, a lot of planning.
Is it? Okay. Well, didn't count them.
It includes but we're not gonna have a conference table in these here, so.
Right. All right, any other questions?
One other thing, have you looked at Marty's chair in the office?
I'm going there
No,
after
okay,
this.
just want to be sure. Yeah.
Going there after this. I'll take
Okay.
care of that today.
Thank you.
All right.
And then we do have some of these that are starting to be sticky in the cylinders.
They don't rise well.
Then they need a new pneumatic. All I have to do is replace them. It's
Okay.
free.
Okay.
It's
We like
free.
that.
It's
That's-
FREE.
Can you get the ones that you're sitting in it and you can pull the lever and it'll pick you up or not?
You know, I have one of those in my garage,
It will cost.
Judge, that I'm willing to give away.
Throw you out.
Yeah. No, that's all right. We always tell people how to do that because they sit down and then they look like smart at the table.
One more question, though. This is on Omnia, correct?
Yes,
And
it's all
Omnia
on federal
is
contract.
federal contract, so it's the same price that the federal government would receive if they
It's
were
all
buying the same
audited
thing.
in Washington DC. And if we do not follow the rules of the, we sign a contract, I sign a contract with them. If I do not follow the rules, they can prosecute me, and I'm not like that idea
You might meet some new people.
at all. Some I don't wanna meet. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Donna.
Thank you, Donna.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Well, Brendan, I just wanted him to address these Aruba switches.
Yes. Yeah, we're getting some new switches for the renovation downstairs to support the extra infrastructure that hadn't been there in the past. And then the core switch needs to be updated to also handle the new capacity. So it'll be 2 switches downstairs in the rack to handle the amount of ports that we're putting in. 1 in the old control room office, and then 2 for the core switches to take the additional fiber that we will be running between the control room switch and from the server room to the IDF cabinet, and then from there to the control room.
Did I understand you correctly, that the core switch is aged out anyway? It
Yes.
would be something that's on our replacement list to replace anyway?
Yes, and the bandwidth, the back end of it wouldn't handle the new fiber we're going
Right.
to run.
So there's 2 reasons to replace it.
Yes.
And Aruba switches are a brand of switch or
It's
a
HP.
kind of switch?
It's HP switch, yes. HP bought Aruba and then branded all their switches Aruba.
Okay.
It comes with a free trip.
Yes.
I went through that Santa Rosa contract that has to do with some of this, and we need to talk. It's got some problems in it.
Okay. Yes, sir. Morgan set up a meeting for us
Yeah,
with that.
Morgan's going to do that with
Yes.
and Richard Watts will be on that also.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Good deal. Thank you, Brandon.
You're welcome.
I'll second Commissioner
Finn Cannon
Muller's.
just whispered me he had it already. Sorry.
Okay.
Thank you, Donna.
Thank you all.
I just want to call attention to item number 4 is another resolution we've done asking the state to pay for the mandated services they're forcing on us in the way of keeping mental health patients and keeping prisoners and juveniles that they are no longer taking because they have fallen down on their mission at the state level. And hope we can send that to someone that will pay attention. Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Waller, second by Commissioner Fincannon to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any other comments by anyone here in the audience or on the phone? Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 1 on general business is review and approve the regular bills for payment. Order the county treasurer to disperse payroll and bill payments within 72 hours via U.S. mail, FedEx, UPS, or electronically unless directed otherwise, or may be picked up and ledgered in the treasurer's office.
So moved.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Beecham, second by Commissioner Fincannon to approve the bills as presented. Any comments or questions by anyone? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item 2 is receive the end of the month investment report for August by Mr. Bob Hampton, County Treasurer, and review the minutes of previous quarterly meetings. Mr. Hampton.
Morning, gentlemen.
There it goes.
There you go.
Yeah,
When are we going there?
right here is where we'll build a new facility.
Oh, the old folks home for treasurers, or?
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so, let's see here.
What you want?
Let's gonna get rid of this mess right here. How do you do that?
That's a little, that won't go away really easily.
It won't?
Not easily.
Okay. Well, thank you anyway. Needless to say, I don't claim to be a tech. Here's our latest report at the end of August. We're going to start with the Geobond Proceeds, and I just want to refresh everybody's memory. We started with $70 million, deposited that on September the 14th, 2017, 5 years ago. And right now, as you see here on this printout, you got $717,264.25 still in the bank at the end of August.
What's is our timeline okay on that, Bob, as far as
Timeline?
having those funds spent?
I hope we're okay on that, Commissioner.
There's no drop dead date for it to be?
Time frame, though.
Okay,
Yeah, there is. On 80, it's 70 or 80% of it, we're past that.
oh, okay. And Bob, on that money,
Yes, sir.
would it not be better in Tex Pool, the Tex Pool Prime?
It would be, for sure. It sure would be. Get a little better coupon rate. But we've spent so far out of the 70 million, we've spent $72,262,931.43.
And that's because you growed that fund.
And so that's where we are on the. But I think. Okay, now here we are at the end of August.
It's 717,000, that's what's remaining.
As of the end of August,
Yeah, there's
Commissioner,
probably been a little dispersed since then, I would imagine.
there has been
What,
a small amount.
looking ahead over, say, the next 12 months, how much of that will we, any ideas?
We've got the glass project in front that's being redrawn. We still have the canopies. We're looking at an alternative for that right now.
I noticed you got a bill on today's consent agenda also for.
And we put, that lift went on there that we approved
The
last
lift.
week, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was,
So there's no huge item out there, other than that the glass project would be
any estimate
substantial.
on what ballpark figure is on that? I mean, is that a,
I wouldn't hazard a guess right now since we're moving to bulletproof
Yeah.
glass and I don't have a lot of experience with it.
I'm just curious where, I mean, is it pretty well gonna be gone in a year, or?
I
we
would,
were talking about
I would think
investment.
we're still setting it roughly $500,000 a year from now.
Oh, yeah, the only thing major going on, I bet that glass isn't, my guess would be less than 25, 40, even that high. I don't really know.
Yeah.
Just curious where that is.
I'm thrown by something. You're saying there's a balance of a little over 700,000. Then what does it mean when we look at the disbursements that you list down and we have a balance of 337,441 on page 12 of 12?
That's that sheet, Judge. That's the total, that's the subtotal
You'll say disbursements page
Of sheet 8 of 8.
8 of 8, subtotal,
Yeah.
that sheet, we spent 337,000 of that sheet. Each sheet has its
Oh,
own number.
okay, so
that's
that,
it.
all right.
So
That's
that's,
not balanced, that's.
No, good,
that's expended
good
this year.
question, for that
But-
particular, and I've tried to keep it the months where they don't kind of run together. Each page has specific time frames.
But we are already $3 million ahead in the game,
You sure are.
So,
and which is allowed to, let us have time to find some of those other needs.
I think we need to look at just, if we're not gonna spend that, if we don't have legitimate purposes, we're gonna spend on that facility, then we need to look at what are the rules and on that money we've earned, whether it has to be set aside at the end of our construction period, that it's set aside to offset, I think it has to go towards paying the debt off. So that would mean a reduction in the debt rate next year of of some of value,
Yeah.
I would think.
Do we
Half
have,
a penny.
do we have everything done, Mark, that as far as egress and regress and those, we got all that taken care of, our drainage in good shape? I mean, is there something
Take a
that needs to be done beyond that project to make it work?
no,
we-
we're taking care of the drainage issues with
Okay.
staff
Yeah.
and inmate labor help.
I'm just trying to look ahead and see what might be out there that we would need to do, but.
No,
The one thing I've learned from this, Bob, if I could come up with $70 million and let you invest it for me, I could retire.
Well, it's going to get even better.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it's going to get better too, Commissioner.
Well, we still haven't addressed what we want for the employee break area, right?
yeah,
The overhang part, but we've come up with a solution that's gonna be less expensive than what we first talked about.
And didn't you need some of those sunscreens and the brace put up for that to block?
Let's go with the
Okay.
yeah.
And what about what I would call the southeastern parking lot where people would park for the old jail? Does that need renovation?
Can't spend any money over there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, they may have, but if she would call Tracy Sanders, is the, let me,
No, I can't think of any.
number still.
Do we have gun range where it's?
Yeah,
We got those problems fixed with it that weren't the poles giving you trouble or
No,
something?
we haven't fixed that stuff yet. But I don't know that's inside the scope of this. It's, kinda like this. That was
Right.
there pre-existing.
cell phone,
Yeah, it's a separate project.
The only other thing I can think of that has
733-4307, or she can call 940-766-8100.
We can put all the trustee lawnmowers and all the trustee workshop, and we can put our in-wrap underneath the cover and put it all in that secure parking lot. That'd be the only other thing, build a building over there on that west end.
Yeah, what I was kind of referring to is we've got all our fencing like we need it, we got our gates like we need it. Sometimes you get out on the edge of these things and you think, oh yeah, we didn't address that needs to be,
I think all that's.
all been done.
The fitness area has everything we wanted to put in it?
I haven't driven around the back of it lately, I'm always on the other side and look at it and see what that looks like.
We got some areas that, the original build was carpeted. After being in there a year, that was not such a good idea to put carpet in some areas, but we're gonna go back this winter and put tile in. The trustee agreed on working outside. and
But,
working inside.
but that's not through bond funds.
No, it's not. Like I said, we've covered just about everything we can think of. The only other thing would be that trustee facility. I don't know if you can add that to the bond or use it on that or not. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it'd be just jail out storage enhancement,
It'd just be a metal building.
yeah.
There's a lot of projects that you get to the end of them like this, and you're discussing how you're gonna make up that $700,000 shortfall rather than.
That's right. That's right.
So this is a real
Yeah.
luxury right here. Well played.
Well,
Yep.
well, we,
Okay, we're gonna leave the jail now. Is that-
Okay.
is that okay? We're gonna leave jail. The
Good.
chief here watching us. He's got his cuffs ready though. This number on your front sheet of the paper that I gave you with the color, this 17 million is our ready cash. And if you look at your year ago, black and white, your ready cash fund was 13,489,000 as opposed to 17,409,000. So we're right at 3.5 million more than we had last year at this time. But moving on down here to the bottom line of this is the general fund now, keep that in mind. You're looking at 46,481,719.44 as opposed to a year ago we were 46,218,048.26, which is comparatively the same. Into the whole end though, well, let's don't move to the end yet. Let's move here to, these are the numbers for permanent improvements that I have in my charge. Keep in mind the auditor has a 401 account as well, so and this of course is our self-insurance fund, and you see the balance on that.
Where are the additional funds in permanent improvement?
Permanent improvements has always been, or was, I can't speak with authority anymore, but was a sub-account of the general fund. And every month I got a statement like this, so I knew exactly where everything was. I don't get this anymore, but the permanent improvements, of course, are paid through the tax department, identified as 401 money, and then that's extrapolated.
But are you saying that if I added the permanent improvement money and the total general fund money, there's more money somewhere that represents, because we're thinking that permanent improvement is like a $4 million figure?
Well, and the auditor's on the phone, I think. She might add to what I have. Right now, I'm showing 1.5 million, a little over that, in permanent improvements. And it's my understanding that she said there was close to 2 million. Is that right, Cheryl? Well, she's not on. But anyway.
So you're thinking that the permanent improvement's not in that $46 million figure?
No, I would assume.
Permanent improvement is not in that 46.
It
That's
is
the reason.
not. Okay.
Yeah, that's the reason I give you this, so you'll
Right.
know where we are in the general fund. Period.
But it's like a checking account on its own, setting out there that has other dollars in it other than your 1.5.
Yeah, it's one of those accounting deals, you know. It's general fund / 401 dot. You know, there's about 8 or 9 numbers out there.
why are our road and bridge dollars not in tax pool prime? Or why are they, tax pool prime paying 2.3 and MNAT's paying 0.7?
Well, we're moving towards that end, Commissioner.
Well, we have $0 invested in tax pool prime across.
No, we don't.
That's,
And we're gonna try to get that done before the end of the month, so.
okay.
If this is where you are as far as, your particular precinct standings, the CD matured, of course, as you can see right there on August the 9th, and that little interest payment came about. Your balance on the road and bridge, though, is right here. total balance $8,651,437.
You loan me some money?
And then, any questions on any of that?
And on that debt notation, on
Okay.
the, page 412,
Yes, sir?
comparing that to a year ago, we were at 3.7 last year, and we were at 3.8. Why would our debt be higher than a year ago?
Well, that's the funds invested in the debt pool, right? You have setting in there
Last
to
page.
finish paying payments this year, 3.8 million.
Oh, that's not the total
No,
debt,
no,
that's what
that-
we've got
yeah.
reserved.
I had to-
Yeah, this
I
is-
bought the same thing you
Yeah,
did at first.
I got you.
And see,
Yeah.
we,
I see.
the only way to disperse that money,
That's fund amount.
yeah, is to make debt payment unless the debt is resolved and then it can revert, but otherwise it has to remain there. And we need to take that into consideration. Do you know, Bob, what's outstanding for the rest of the year in debt payment? We pay roughly $5.5 million a year in debt payment.
Well, we made two sizable debt payments, one to Wells and the other to New York. And the large debt, I'm hoping auditor's on. The next one, I believe, is January the 1st to Texoma.
Wow, well, so why wouldn't we want to take that, because that fund balance is in good shape, why wouldn't we want to take that and pay off our $1 million that we got borrowed right now from Postel? Or is it Postel or?
Well, that would be something that we would probably want to get together and visit about.
Well, it'd be a good investment committee discussion.
Yeah, yeah. And we'll meet, of course, first Thursday of October,
Okay.
as per previous decisions.
I think we're actually all at conference that week.
You're at conference.
Yeah,
I'll have
that's
to
right.
Move it to the following week.
Do we have any minutes from the other two meetings?
Yeah, I've got,
Okay, could we get those?
sure. Any questions on any of these accounts here? Just to give you an idea though where we are, we're, a year ago we did not incorporate payroll or the law library simply because it didn't seem to me to be something that you needed to concern yourself about because those monies are going out anyway. But anyway, now we do that, and so extrapolating those numbers out of the current total, we still are 3% ahead of where we were 12 months ago. So, and that, down at the bottom, of course, is your LPPF monies, which we talked about, I think, last Monday.
Yes, sir.
And also, at the end of August, we had $23,003,766.99 in the recovery fund.
And Bob, that would be another candidate, would it not, for the Tex Pool Prime?
Yes, sir.
And you can still get your hands on that money relatively quick, even when it's.
Takes a one-day turnaround.
Okay,
That's,
yeah, that would
that's
really,
liquid money.
that'd make a lot of money right there.
What all is in the recovery fund?
It's
Those
just
two
the
deposits
ARPA
that they
money.
gave us,
I'm sorry, what?
those two deposits that they gave us
Okay.
on June of 21 and June of 22.
Okay, that's all part of the LPPF.
ARPA.
Or
No,
is that ARPA? No, I'm
ARPA.
sorry, that's ARPA. There
ARPA.
we go. When you say recovery now, no, okay.
Yeah.
Took a while to associate that.
Yeah. But it's here on your back page.
Okay. Well, I'm missing
And
one
that way
page
you'll
for some
know.
reason.
How hard is it in time to move money from gold account to Tex Pool?
hard from either one of those?
Well,
Is it?
it's not hard, it's just a matter of getting multiple signatures now.
I mean, it's 3 times the amount of money, 4 times the amount of money on some of them. I mean,
Yeah, keeping in mind that Texpool just recently got healed.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, I realize that, but
Yeah.
there's probably in the last month or two.
Yeah, probably,
So
it was improving all along, but it's a lot better than just leaving money in that gold account.
yeah, but for the amount of money, we'd be smart to have acted on it pretty quick.
It's one of the
But
more
let me tell you,
secure
the
investments.
Texpool account is just like we're investing monies, and so that number doesn't stay static like the bank number does. So,
Okay.
and who knows, and we're gonna talk a little bit about this. Here though is the end of the report, and of course, this is the one that, the weighted average, 2.9, that's where we are as far as our total investment package. 2.9 years. The good news is though, by the end of October, early November, we'll start getting tax dollars in, and which leads me to this little piece of work that I left in there. I know you guys keep up with this anyway, but the Fed rate is going to probably go up 75 basis points. They're going to meet tomorrow and Wednesday, and Jerome Powell, of course, is the Fed chairman appointed by Mr. Biden, and he's determined to raise this rate again. So that takes more money off the table. That's what it basically does. And this report also will tell you that the CPI, or the inflation index that's used, is 8.3. Now this is a significant number. So, and I know it's for a fact because I went to Walmart yesterday to buy shaving cream, and my $3.99 shaving cream is now $4.30. So I'm a testimonial to what inflation's all
Why
about.
there's so many beards around these days.
I'm thinking about it myself. Mortgage rates, but problem is I wear too much gray, and that would probably lead me back into retraining camp.
Mr. Hampton, I'm just reading down through this, it's always interesting. I
Yes,
love
sir.
to read and talk about money, but there are several mentions in this of hard landing and continued inflation. And when I flip on MSNBC, that's not what I'm hearing.
No, it's the dangest thing I've ever seen.
I mean, it's totally the inverse of
Well, correct me if I'm
what the
wrong
real
on this,
folks
but
say.
inflation's calculated on 12-year trailing, or 12-month
12
trailing rather, 12-month trailing. So really, that doesn't account for the 8% or whatever it was inflation rate last year. So
And the
over
year
2
before.
years, we're more at 16 to 20% inflation.
Well, I mean, you could compose it any way you
Yeah.
wanted to, Commissioner, but what's problematic is, this 8% is like a 8 or 9 year high.
Yeah,
And
but we,
and when you're taking money off the table,
yeah.
okay, you get a Hamptonism. I didn't sleep entirely in economics class every day, but when you raise the Fed rate, you're pulling money off the table. Inflation, though, basically has to do with supply and demand, and so that's two different entities. So what you're doing, though, is you're hurting the small guy. He can't borrow money to open a business. He can't borrow money to send his kid to school. He can't afford to borrow money to improve his home. So I don't know, of course the key there is everybody's got to vote. And you may never let me do this again, but I think November is a watershed for this great country. Do we remain great, or do we let these knuckleheads take over? And the numbers are reflective of what, you know, who ever heard of us not being energy independent? For an oil producing area like Wichita and North Texas, it's unheard of. And this sheet right here, this is the reason I put it in there. This is not Bob Hampton talking. This is an established, this lady has an established economics background, and she says that the mortgage rate surged past 6%. This is the highest since 2008. Think about that. That's 14 years.
2008 was double digit
Yeah.
for a loan. So
I'm
6
talking about the mortgage rate, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6%. The highest level since November of 2008. And I also put your little clip here on Walmart. If you own a Walmart card, you're going to get a 10% pop on that membership this year. And if you really want to learn some stuff, this sheet here, I talked to this guy the other day, really a good guy. He wants to do, you know, investing. He's a California broker. I don't know how Steven wants to do that. I don't do people out of town like that, especially Californians. But nice guy to talk to. We visited, and he's sending me this every day now. But really, same thing though. He talked about FOMC meeting, and so I think it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. We got 2 years of this to go, but we've got to vote in November. Any questions?
What's the good news you have?
Well, we still live in the greatest country there
Yeah.
ever was,
Agree with that.
and
We can make
and
payroll. That's always good news.
Let's hope the way you said that's not correct, ever was.
yeah, it is. It's a great country.
It is a great country.
All right.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you, sir. Well, here comes the man with all the money, Bob.
Hey,
Tom.
You'll start to come in after October, guys.
All right, item number 3 is to receive an update on courthouse renovations, elevator projects, and the county courthouse annex. Mr. Beecham.
Should have bid openings Thursday on the Annex Phase 2 project. Thursday also we'll be closing down portions of 6th Street to put the crane up to haul the elevator equipment up and down. We may end up having to close off part of our back parking lot as well. Unsure yet of what's going to be required, but I'll let everyone know by email if we need to take part of that parking lot as well. Courthouse, they did a lot of the texture last week. That was the big milestone last week. That and the elevator folks started car 2. So moving right along.
You know, Mr. Smythe, I was thinking about you last week. Well, not last week, the week before.
I was getting ready to say, if you were thinking about him where you
No,
are,
no, I wasn't.
you've gone way up in my
And what dawned on me is walking through, in fact, Willie Wall and Mark and I took a pretty extensive tour the other morning of all the renovations that are going on, and you need to do that. But my thought was walking through that basement. When you see how far that has come from where it was when we began, it gives me great hopes for what's going to happen across the way. It can happen, and I know sometimes you think it's not, but it really kind of gets you charged up about how good that can be, because that deal has come so far, and it's so functional.
And Tommy, on that same note, a good disclaimer for Kenny. Yesterday I got asked as I was checking out the grocery store about what would happen since the renovations over here. They said, what about paying my taxes gonna come up and getting our license. And everybody, before I had a chance to interject, everybody told the guy there, the other grocery store people in Iowa Park, said that Iowa Park's gonna be open, you know, and it's got to be fully staffed, and I was proud of them. Somebody's paying attention.
That's good to hear, Chad. That's real good to hear.
Do we need to add any additional signage or anything to,
You know, I'd like to probably have something maybe that we could probably put outside the annex, you know. I don't want anybody to have to get out, come inside to find out that, you know, that we can't help them. No, we're still gonna have a drop box off of Scott Judge, that worked perfect during COVID. But if somebody needs title work, I'd like to have something possibly where they don't park across the street. You know, you risk life and limb crossing Scott, and then get inside, and then, listen, if you want title work done, you can go to Burke, Iowa Parker, or Electric.
Well, we talked about putting the moose from the informational moose out front.
You know, get John Candy to go with it.
That was John Candy, wasn't it? I forgot that, yeah. The moose. Sorry, folks.
I'll probably tell you, Commissioner, we're gonna probably need some additional signage. We've got some of this year's budget as well as next year's, but, I mean, between internet, Lindy Barr's gonna help us out with 4 radio stations, our newsletter, our website's completely updated. We're having, some brochures made, Kenny built us a QR code. I mean, we're trying to butter every road we can put butter on it to help the public. That's good to hear, Jeff. I mean, but all 3 of our field offices will be open Monday through Friday, and all of them have Iowa Park's gonna be triple staffed, Burke triple staffed, and then the Western Edge is gonna pick up Electric's gonna have Kenny will have somebody working with them out there, so.
okay,
It's getting out. I mean, we're still gonna have a certain segment's gonna come downtown, and, you know, we discussed this before, you can spend the king's ransom, and you can't, it's just hard to get everybody up to speed on what's going on, but it's not because we're not trying. And we started last December, pushed it out, but hey, this was eventually gonna happen, so.
Do we have a link between the county website and you have a separate website? And I was thinking we did,
Yeah, it all crisscrosses, Judge.
okay.
And if you go, Judge, to Tommy's right now, the first button to click on is what's taking shape in the reconstruction and renovation.
Had a good meeting with Ricky and Maintenance Thursday. He's helped us with some storage upstairs as far as what we're gonna do, and as soon as they get freed up down here with their new maintenance, about the next 10 days, they're gonna come over and work on that server room, and that's where I'll be moving into, and then we're gonna get that other room emptied up for all bookkeeping. So we're doing everything we can do.
yeah,
We're excited about it.
yeah,
But
Ricky's,
you're right, Barry. It's been a little bit of a haul, but like the Judge said, hey, Commissioner Preston did tell me the truth.
He did.
He said it was slated.
It just takes a while to,
I'm a big fan of Bill Preston anyway. He didn't lie to me. He didn't lie to me, Judge.
it takes a while
Bill Preston,
to engrave it in that slate to get it on there.
yeah, slating takes a long time to form, so.
Yep.
So, hey, you talk about Ricky's area, that's one of the nicer things that we've done is get maintenance a proper place to be. It's really looking sharp, you'll have to go down there to look. They're, like you said, about 10 days out from being moved in completely, it's nice.
I think the other alternative on that information is put Kenny Gregory out front with his heated VA. Informational
If we put a little case out front to collect money, does it count?
Informational truth.
All right. Anything else that's on the agenda? Don't think of anything else. Thank you all for your attendance and participation today.